Welcome to True Crime Cases, where we delve into the darkest corners of human nature. The velvet darkness of a December evening pressed against the windows of the Andrew elegant two-story house Athena. Andrew stood in her walk-in closet surrounded by neatly organized designer clothes, methodically packing for their upcoming anniversary trip to the Males. The excitement that should have bubbled through her veins felt strangely flat. Something wasn't right. Her perfectly manicured fingers brushed against Roman's suit jacket, the navy one he'd worn to last week's charity gala. A piece of paper crinkled in the pocket. Normally Athena would never check her husband's pockets, but lately, the gnawing feeling in her stomach had grown impossible to ignore. The receipt was crisp, barely creased Cartier. Her heart skipped a beat. 122, $500 for a diamond bracelet. Athena's hands trembled as she stared at the date 3 weeks ago, when Roman had claimed to beat a business conference in Chicago. "That's weird," she whispered to herself, her voice echoing in the empty house. Their 15th anniversary was approaching. But Roman had already given her his gift, a spa package at the resort they'd be staying at. So who was this bracelet for? The sound of her own heartbeat seemed to fill the closet as she carefully returned the receipt exactly as she'd found. The rational part of her brain tried to construct innocent explanations. But the late nights at the office, the mysterious phone calls he took in other rooms, and now this. Athena walked to her vanity sea, catching her reflection in the mirror. At 38, she still turned heads, her dark hair falling in perfect waves, green eyes bright with intelligence from years as a successful financial advisor. She and Roman had been the perfect power couple, their life a carefully curated display of success. Her phone buzzed, making her jump, a text from Roman stuck in another late meeting. "Don't wait up, love you." Athena's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Should she ask about the bracelet, confront him? No. Something inside her, some instinct for self-preservation, told her to wait too, watch to gather more information. She opened her laptop instead, pulling up their joint bank statements. Everything looked normal at first glance, their usual expenses, business dinners, travel costs. But there was something about the pattern of hotel charges that caught her attention. Small amounts scattered across different days, all at local hotels downtown. Her financial advisor's mind kicked in, scanning for regularities. The sound of the garage door opening downstairs made her quickly close the laptop. Roman wasn't supposed to be home yet. He'd said he was in a meeting. Athena's heart raced as she heard his footsteps on the stairs. "Jules," his voice called out. "You still up?" She quickly grabbed a random piece of clothing, pretending to be packing in the closet, called back, proud of how steady her voice sounded. Roman appeared in the doorway, looking impeccable in his tailored suit. Despite the late hour, his cologne, the expensive one she'd given him for Christmas, wafted into the room. "The meeting ended early," he said with his characteristic smooth smile. "Need help packing?" Athena forced herself to smile back, noting the slight smudge of something pink on his collar. "No. I'm almost done." "How was your meeting?" "Productive," he replied, loosening his tie. "The Johnson account is finally coming together." The LIE rolled off his tongue so easily Athena knew for a fact the Johnson account had been closed last month. She'd seen the final paperwork herself. "That's great, honey," she said, turning back to her suitcase. "I'm so glad it worked out." Her mind was already racing ahead, planning her next moves. The Maldives trip was in 3 days. Whatever was going on, whatever Roman was hiding, she would find out the truth. The perfect facade of their marriage might be cracking, but Andrew wasn't going to let it shatter without understanding exactly what she was dealing with. As Roman headed to the shower, Athena's hand brushed against the airline tickets in her purse. 7 days at a luxury resort. It should have been romantic. Instead, it was starting to feel like the perfect opportunity to uncover whatever secrets her husband was keeping. The game was on, and Athena was determined to win. Little did Roman know his wife's financial expertise wasn't just for show. If there was a paper trail, she would find it. If there were lies, she would uncover them. The perfect anniversary gift, it seemed, would be the truth. Truth, no matter how ugly it might be. The Maldivian paradise sprawled before Athena like a postcard come to life. Crystal waters sparkled under the tropical sun, luxury water villas dotted the turquoise lagoon, and palm trees swayed in the gentle breeze. It should have been perfect. It would have been perfect if not for the constant ringing of Roman's phone. "Sorry, "Honey," Roman said for the third time that morning, stepping away from their private beach cabana. "It's Anderson, can't ignore." This one. Athena watched him walk away, his muscular figure silhouetted against the pristine beach. Anderson again. That was the fourth urgent call from Anderson since breakfast. Her financial advisor's mind quickly cataloged the inconsistencies. Anderson was on paternity leave for another 2 weeks. She'd seen the company-wide email herself, pretending to be absorbed in her book. Athena observed Roman pacing near the water's edge, his body language, scream tension, shoulders tight, free hand gesturing sharply. This wasn't a casual business call when he laughed. It sounded forced, even from this distance. "Everything okay?" she asked casually when he returned, noting how quickly he slipped his phone into his pocket. "Just work stuff," he replied, reaching for his coconut water. "You know how it is." Yes, she did know how it was, or at least how it should be as a financial advisor, handling high-profile clients. Athena understood urgent business matters, but this felt different, wrong. During their cruise massage that afternoon, Roman's phone buzzed 3 more times. Each time, he'd excuse himself, leaving Athena alone with her thoughts and mounting suspicions. The massage therapist gave her sympathetic looks. She'd probably seen this scene play out before with other couples back in their water villa. Athena stood on the private deck watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. The sound of running water told her Roman was in the shower. His phone lay unattended on the bedside table, screen lighting up with a new message. Athena's heart pounded. Should she? Her fingers itched to grab the phone, to confirm her suspicions. But before she could move, Roman emerged from the bathroom. "Ready for dinner?" he asked, already reaching for his phone. Athena noticed how he angled the screen away from her as he checked his messages. The resort's signature restaurant was a masterpiece of romantic ambiance. Candlelight flickered across their table, situated on a private platform over the water. Schools of colorful fish swam beneath their feet, visible through the glass floor. The chef had prepared a special tasting menu for their anniversary celebration to 15 amazing years. Roman raised his champagne glass, smiling that perfect smile that had first captivated her. Athena clinked her glass against his, studying his face. When had she stopped being able to read him? The appetizer had barely arrived when his phone buzzed again. "Sorry, Jules, this will just take a minute." Athena watched him hurry away from the table, disappearing into the tropical darkness. A minute turned into 5, then 10. Their food grew cold. Other diners cast curious glances her way. The abandoned wife at the romantic dinner pulling out her own phone. Athena opened her banking app. Something had been nagging at her since discovering that Cartier receipt as a financial advisor. She knew money always left a trail. Her fingers flew across the screen, accessing their joint accounts. There it was, a pattern she'd nearly missed. Small withdrawals cleverly disguised as business expenses. Over the past 6 months, they added up to nearly $50,000. How had she not noticed sooner? Roman returned, slipping his phone back into his pocket. "Sorry about that." "Where were we?" Athena forced a smile, her mind racing. "You were toasting to 15 amazing years, right?" He grinned, reaching for her hand across the table. "I'm so lucky to have you." The waves lapped gently against the restaurant stilts below. A warm breeze carried the scent of tropical flowers. Everything about this moment should have been romantic. Instead, Athena felt cold despite the balmy evening air, because now she knew tomorrow morning, while Roman was at his important business breakfast, she would have time to dig deeper. The perfect vacation was about to become the perfect opportunity for investigation. Whatever Roman was hiding, she would find it. The game was changing, and Athena was done playing by the rules. Dawn crept over the Maldivian horizon as Athena lay awake listening to Roman's steady breathing beside her. His important business breakfast was scheduled for 7:30 a.m. Another obvious lie, since she knew most resort restaurants didn't open until 8. The bathroom door clicked softly as Roman disappeared inside for his morning routine. Like clockwork, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He'd forgotten to take it with him for the first time all vacation. Athena's heart raced as she glanced at the screen. A message notification appeared. "Everything's arranged for next week. Can't wait to." Finally, the rest was hidden. But Athena's fingers trembled as she heard the shower start running. This was her chance. With swift, silent movements, she reached for his phone. To her surprise, it unlocked. With her fingerprint, he hadn't changed. the settings since they'd set up the phone together last year. Her eyes scanned the message thread rapidly. How this penthouse is perfect, just like we planned. Roman, you're amazing at keeping everything discreet. Thought that's why you hired me. The special arrangement needs to stay secret. Your wife has no idea, right? Athena's stomach churned. Scrolling up revealed dozens of messages, all carefully worded to avoid specific details. There were mentions of meetings at high-end hotels, discussions about the perfect setup, and constant reminders about discretion. The shower water stopped. Athena quickly placed the phone exactly as she'd found it, her mind whirling with possibilities. The woman's initial burned in her thoughts. Who was she? An affair? A business partner? Something worse? Morning beautiful Romans at emerging from the bathroom wrapped in a plush resort robe. Sleep well like a dream. Athena lied smoothly. Years of corporate negotiations helping her maintain composure. Don't forget your breakfast meeting, right? He grabbed his phone, checking it immediately. Athena watched his face carefully but saw no reaction to the new message. He was too good at this game. Should only take an hour or two. Then we'll hit the beach. Perfect. She smiled, already planning her next move. As soon as Roman left, Athena sprang into action. She opened her laptop, connecting to the resort's Wi-Fi. Her fingers flew across the keyboard as she logged into their joint email account, the one Roman rarely used anymore. But he'd slipped up. The account was still linked to his phone. A new email appeared in real time from Alexander Avents, aprivatplanner.com. Subject: final confirmation next week's event. Athena's breath caught. Was Alexandra an event planner? The email was brief but revealing. Roman, everything set for next week. The penthouse suite at the Grand Hotel is booked under the private arrangement we discussed. All vendors are confirmed and sworn to secrecy. Your special surprise will remain completely discreet until the moment of revelation. As always, my professional discretion is guaranteed. Athena sat back, her mind racing. Party planner, could all this secretive behavior be about a surprise party? No, that didn't explain the mysterious hotel charges, the late nights, the Cartier bracelet. Her laptop pinged with another email notification. This time, it was a receipt from the Grand Hotel charged to Roman's private credit card. The amount made her gasp. $225 for a one-night booking. The pieces were there, but they didn't fit together. Whatever Roman was planning with this Alexandra person, it was elaborate, expensive, and completely hidden from Athena. $225,000 for one night. The bracelet, the secret meetings. Her financial advisor instincts kicked in. These weren't the patterns of a simple affair. This was something bigger, more complex, more dangerous. Standing on their private deck, watching the perfect turquoise waters, Athena made a decision. She'd play along with Roman's breakfast meeting charade, but later, when he was at this scheduled diving session, she would make some calls of her own, starting with the Grand Hotel. The truth was within reach, hiding behind carefully worded messages and secretive planning. Athena hadn't spent 15 years managing million-dollar portfolios without learning how to unravel complex mysteries. Whatever Roman and Alexander were planning, they'd severely underestimated who they were dealing with. The game was about to change, and Athena was ready to make her next move. The afternoon sun blazed over the luxury resort as Athena sat in their villa, her laptop screen casting a soft glow on her face. Roman was at his 2-hour gym session, the only predictable part of his schedule lately. Her phone call to the Grand Hotel had revealed nothing. They cited client privacy at every question. Her fingers moved swiftly across the keyboard, diving deeper into Roman's email archives. After discovering Alexandra's message, Athena had found a pattern. A second email account hidden beneath layers of folders contained a goldmine of information. No, she whispered, her eyes widening as she scrolled. Hotel confirmations flooded the screen. Not just the Grand Hotel, but dozens of bookings at luxury hotels. Back home, the Regency, the Peninsula, the Metropolitan, all under Roman's name, spanning the last 6 months. Athena grabbed her planner, her hands shaking slightly as she cross-referenced the dates. October 15th, business conference in Boston, the Metropolitan. Hotel booking showed he never left town. November 3rd, client meeting in Chicago. Another local hotel reservation. All those business trips, she muttered, her voice hollow in the tropical air. All those late nights. A new email popped up from Alexandra. Roman, everything's in place for the grand revelation. The penthouse is just the beginning. Your special plans for expansion are perfectly arranged. Expansion. Athena's mind raced. What exactly was Roman planning to expand? Their perfect life was starting to feel like a house of cards ready to collapse. At the slightest breeze, her phone buzzed. Roman finished early at gym grabbing his smoothie back in 15. Athena's heart pounded as she quickly gathered her evidence. The hotel bookings, the mysterious meetings, the massive money transfers, Alexander's cryptic messages about expansion and arrangements. None of it added up to a simple affair. This was bigger, more calculated. Standing on their private deck, watching resort guests paddleboard in the crystal clear waters below, Athena felt her world shifting. The perfect marriage, the power couple status, the enviable lifestyle. How much of it was real? How much was just another carefully arranged facade? Her financial advisor brain kicked into high gear, analyzing patterns like she would for a suspicious investment portfolio. The money trail pointed to something systematic, planned, possibly even illegal. "Hey, beautiful," Roman's voice made her jump. He stood in the doorway post-workout, smoothie in hand, looking like a fitness magazine cover model. "Miss me?" Athena turned, studying her husband's face, the same face she'd woken up to for 15 years. The same smile that had once made her feel like the luckiest woman alive. Now it all seemed like a performance. "Roman," she started, fighting to keep her voice steady, "we need to talk about your business trips." His smile flickered for just a moment, so brief she might have missed it if she hadn't been watching carefully. "What about them? Maybe we should sit down." Athena gestured to the deck chairs. Her laptop waited inside, screen full of evidence, but she needed to read his reaction first. 15 years in finance had taught her that sometimes the biggest revelations came from watching people squirm. Roman sat, his relaxed posture too perfect, too practiced. "You seem tense, Jules. Everything okay?" "You tell me," she replied, noting how his fingers tightened slightly around his smoothie cup. "How was your trip to Boston last month?" A perfect pause, not too long, not too short. "Productive." Landed the Henderson account. Remember, Athena felt a chill despite the tropical heat. Another lie. The Henderson account had been handled entirely by their Singapore office. She'd seen the paperwork herself. "Interested," she said softly. "Very interesting." The waves lapped against the villa's stilts below. A seabird called in the distance. Athena could feel the confrontation building like an approaching storm. All she needed was one more piece of evidence, one final confirmation, before everything would explode. Roman's phone buzzed. His eyes flickered to it briefly, but he didn't reach for it. The perfect facade was about to shatter, and Athena was ready to watch it fall. The resort's most exclusive restaurant sparkled like a jewel box perched over the lagoon. Candlelight danced across crystal glasses in fine china as Athena and Roman sat at the best table, surrounded by the illusion of romance. "Happy anniversary, darling." Roman raised his champagne glass. His smile, practiced and perfect. "To us." Athena lifted her glass, the weight of her evidence feeling heavier than the designer clutch beside her. "To the truth," she said quietly. Roman's eyebrow twitched slightly. "The truth, yes." Athena set down her glass. "Care why? Let's talk about Alexandra and the Grand Hotel Penthouse and all those local hotel bookings during your supposed business trips." The color drained from Roman's face, but he recovered quickly. "Jules, I can explain." "I'm sure you can." Athena cut him off smoothly. "You've always been good at explaining. Things like how you explained using my reputation to funnel company investments through shell accounts." His fork clattered against the plate around them. Other diners remained absorbed in their romantic dinners, unaware of the drama unfolding. "I found everything." Roman. Athena continued, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "The fake business trips, the diverted funds, the secret accounts. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? I'm a financial advisor. It's literally my job to spot these things you don't understand." Roman leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Alexandra is just your partner in crime." Athena pulled out her phone, displaying Animail she'd uncovered, or should I say Yoa, and embezzling nearly $2 million from the company. The waiter approached with their appetizers, but Roman waved him away. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the restaurant's perfect temperature. The penthouse wasn't for an affair, was it? Athena pressed on. "It was for meeting with investors. Wealthy people you've been scamming using my credentials as cover. Alexandra isn't your mistress, she's your business partner in this entire fraud scheme." Roman's perfect facade finally cracked. "How did you figure it out?" Athena gave a bitter laugh. "Those hotel bookings matched perfectly with major investment transfers. Alexandra's event planning company is registered to an address that doesn't exist. And that Cartier bracelet a gift for the wife of your biggest mark, wasn't it? The truth hung between them like a storm cloud, dark and threatening. Their diners continued, their meals oblivious to the destruction of a 15-year marriage happening. Just tables away, jewels, please. Roman reached for her hand. She pulled away. We can work this out, the money. We can make it right. Make it right? Athena's voice trembled. With controlled anger, you used my reputation, my credentials, my trust to scam innocent people. There's no making that right. Everything I did was for us, he pleaded, for our lifestyle, our future. Athena stood gathering her clutch. No, Roman, everything you did was for yourself. And now you've ruined everything, your career, our marriage, and any chance of keeping this quiet. What do you say? Bang, fear crept into his voice. I'm saying that while you were at the gym today, I wasn't just gathering evidence. She pulled out a business card. I was speaking with the resort's security team. They're very interested in the proof I have of international financial fraud. Roman's face went ashing as two men in suits appeared quietly beside their table. Mr. Andrew, one of them said softly, we need you to come with us. Athena watched as her husband, the man she trusted for 15 years, was quietly escorted from their restaurant around them. Dinner continued. As if nothing had happened, the perfect facade remained intact even as her world crumbled, but somehow standing in the wreckage of her marriage, Athena felt stronger than ever. She'd uncovered the truth, exposed the lies, and refused to be pawn in someone else's game. The perfect anniversary gift, it turned out, was her own freedom back in her villa. As the Maldivian night wrapped around her, like a dark blanket, Athena sat surrounded by 15 years of memories. Now all suspect their laptop glowed with more devastating revelations as she dug deeper into Roman's emails. Oh my God, she whispered, staring at a message dated 16 years ago, before their marriage, before their perfect life. The email was from Alexandra to Roman. Target identified: Athena Reynolds, rising star. In financial advisory, perfect credentials. For the long-term plan begin. Phase 1 of approach. Athena's hands trembled as she scrolled through more ancient emails. Their entire love story, their chance meeting at the charity gala, his persistent courtship, the romantic proposal, all carefully orchestrated, steps in an elaborate con. Her phone buzzed, a message from her best friend. Catherine, Jules heard about Roman. Are you okay? This doesn't change who you are, but didn't it? Athena stood walking to the deck where the moonlight painted silver paths across the water. Everything she'd believed about her life had been a carefully constructed lie. Roman hadn't fallen in love with her. He'd selected her, groomed her, used her connections and reputation to build his fraud empire. Her laptop pinged with a new email from the resort security team. Mrs. Andrew, local authorities request your statement. Your evidence is crucial for the case. Athena took a deep breath, the warm tropical air filling her lungs. Speaking out would mean public scandal. Her name would be dragged through the mud. Clients would question every investment, every recommendation she'd ever made, but staying quiet meant letting Roman's other victims suffer insolence. She thought of all the wealthy clients Roman had scammed, using her credibility as cover. Thanks for watching True Crime Cases.